It's good to see you here for this promotional tour, promotional visit at least.
Whizzing around.
Onto the album. Firstly, I congratulate you on the album because you couldn't really do much else than say it's a fine album.
Great, thanks.
It sounds to me like it's a project you've thought about for years, and it also sounds to me like something that might be a little bit too personal to have done in a band situation.
Kind of, yeah. I've had it in the back of my mind for a long time to do the album. I just needed a space, which I've now got, which I had in about 6 months. The band said, right, we're going to have a break. I thought, right, I'll go in and do it. And the topics, I was involved in a relationship while I was writing for the album, so I was very much writing quite personal songs, and unfortunately the relationship is no more, but the songs are there at least, and I got a lot out of my system.
So it seems to me that your train of thought is like a lot of people these days, and that is giving consideration to working on relationships a little harder.
Yeah, well,
Men and women need each other.
Yeah, it's like in Friction, I mean, we need to love each other better, but people generally, I think, it starts with men and women, though. If they can do it, then I think the world would be a much better place. I mean, I think that's what John Lennon was also trying to say before he died with his album. And it seems to be heading that way now in music generally. People are sort of reaching out, wanting to touch and hold each other more, which is good.
It seems like there's no choice.
That's right.
To me.
That's exactly right.
It's a very melodic album too. Is that something that I look back on the days like songs like Charlie, and you've written most of the end songs, but you seem to be into melody more heavily in this.
Yeah. I came up with quite a few tunes for this album that were, different from the Time and Tide type songs, which were more sort of represented, I suppose, the darker side of my personality. But this album is more I think, more uplifting, more positive, and the tunes sort of reflect that. Yeah. I've always found it easy to write tunes. That's probably the easiest part. The words come harder. You have to work more on that. But the tunes that tends to be just like popping into your head. That's the inspiration part, I suppose.
On the video of Fraction Too Much Friction, that's a young guy who's emerging in Sydney, isn't it?
Richard Lowenstein. Yeah. Well, actually, he works out of Melbourne. He was first noticed when he did the Hunters and Collectors clip, Talking to a Stranger, and he's also done Jojo Zepp's Taxi Mary clip, Joe Camilleri's clip. So yeah, he's brilliant. I think he's a wonderful guy to work with. He works, and his editing is like quite dreamlike. He's not too literal. There's not like a different scene for every line. It's just more or less things merging and crossing over, which I think is truer to the sense of the song. Really.
A lot of different feelings in the clip, as in the song too. It seems to go through quite a few shades of feeling.
Right.
How did he do that? Did he burn the film on those da-da-da?
The da-da-da bits. I don't know. He did, a lot of it I didn't know. I mean, it was really up to him. He has a girlfriend who does animation, and she did a lot of the animation. I'm not sure exactly how they did it, but I really liked it when I saw it. And it stands up to a few watchings too, because there is some subtlety in it. Tim
Vanetta Fields, the lady singing with you on that video and backing vocals on the album, has done some sensational work in her time. Boss Gags, she was here on the tours as well as the albums. Toto and more recently Renee Gayer.
Right, and also Aretha Franklin. Yeah, she came up through the gospel thing, and I just brought it down initially to sing just on a couple of tracks, but she ended up on 8 of the 10 tracks on the album and gave a real flavour to the album, that gospel sort of thing. I love her voice. Fantastic lady. Every time she walked in the studio, it was, good vibes.
She brought that session feeling that she was used to, I suppose, from the stage.
Just a natural warmth, she's a lovely person.
And Richard T, did you snatch him from the Paul Simon Art Garfunkel tour?
Yeah, he's a really great field player. He just came down, and Festival Studios in Sydney is a really sort of rough area of town, and he thought, hey, what's this, a hold-up, But he got into it in the end and really enjoyed himself, and he played great, really simple piano.
And Festival, I haven't seen anything come out of Festival, the old Piedmont Studios, for a long time.
It's the dark horse, of the Sydney scene. I mean, Mental as Anything, I think, are doing a single there with Ricky and Mark now, because they like the sound of my record. I think at least that was partly of the reason. And it's a simple studio, it's not posh, there's nothing pretentious about it, but I think you get the job done.
And what do you think about the possibility of doing something solo? I understand this is a fairly personal solo project. Do you think you might be able to do some bit of touring? Yeah.
Well, I'd love to do the capital cities, but it's a matter of fitting it in with the band's schedule. But if the album does well, and maybe after we've finished the Next Ends album, which should be sometime late September, early October, I might be able to snatch a couple of weeks and go for it. I'd love to do it.
And you work on the Ends album starting pretty soon, don't you?
Yeah, we start on Friday, July the 1st. Really exciting. Neil's got lots of songs, and we're raring to go. The other guys are just going mad, can't wait to get in there. I've done my album, so I'm still keen, but they haven't had the opportunities I've had.
Well, we spoke with Noel and Neil about 3 weeks ago here too, on the Environfest Day. they mentioned their enthusiasm. They've all been doing solo things, but nothing as profound as yours over that time.
They're going mental, yeah.
Well, Tim, it's good to see you here,
Thank you.
Let's hope we can see you with the band again soon, and hopefully that's solo too.
Okay, there may be a fraction too much friction, but that doesn't mean a better world has to be fiction.